Hi everyone, Sandra Duran Wilson here, and welcome to Mixed Media Soul Sparks. This week I want to share with you one of my favorite techniques that I use a lot in my work, and it's called painting on Plexi. And I first introduced it way back in some of the earlier books, but I did revisit it in this book, Acrylic Painting for Encaustic Effects. And I want to show you a couple of the pieces that I finished in this one. Well, first of all, there's this last one. Bear with me. Here it is. So this piece, I was talking about final finishes in this particular chapter. And this is the work. And here I have, you can see on the back, I've done a reverse collage with Mona Lisa, and then I had cut out some music score to go behind it, painted on top, painted on back, and then you paint the whole thing. I think I painted it with white paint back here, and then did collage some white paper to give it more depth. So there's a couple of things when you're painting with plexiglass. You can keep it transparent, and then you want to have some opacity. So that way you're going to get this depth. If you're painting on one side of it and the other side, it's going to really show that depth. Let me just show you another one here. This one is, here it is, okay. All right, so in this book as well, I do have this piece, which I show you how I did, even drilling into the plexiglass to add this piece. This one has a transfer, which, when you look at it, this area here is well, they're actually both transfers. No, I have to rethink it now. It's been a while. This is a transfer here, and then on this side, it's a crackle paste on the back side. And then I've come in on the front and painted, and then added these elements where you see I kind of drilled through there. And the back is then painted white in order to give it that depth. So that's another way to really get the piece to have depth. So I recommend this book. It's got a lot of great ideas in it. This is a piece in process. So you can see that it's got some stencil work, and I'm using a sponge with different colors. And on this side, it's also the same stencil, but kind of slightly offset. Same here. There's a couple of different stencils here. So when you have that depth, when you have two different stencils, one on the front, one on the back, that will give you that illusion of depth, especially if you slightly offset them. Now, if I took this paper and put behind it, or maybe up here, now you're going to get a better idea of what this might look like. And you can do that either with paint or with paper. This is what I start with. It's just plain plexiglass. You can get this at the hardware store, or you can even go to your favorite framer, and they usually have some leftover pieces. This is an 8x8, which I can then add to a panel later if I want, but any size will really do. This one I had cut at the store, and they didn't have a very good blade, so it was kind of scratched there. And what I do then is I just take some sandpaper. This is a 320, and I can just sand that edge slightly. I don't want to sand all of this, but I just want to sand that edge. To clean this, just spray it with some alcohol, and rubbing alcohol, and then wipe it down with a paper towel. So the way to start with it, let's say I start with a stencil, and I'm just going to put this stencil on here, get my paint. I like to use sponges. And when you're working front and back, you have to give it a little time to dry on one side, so I may not be able to show you both sides of this one, but I have enough pieces I can give you the general idea. I just like to keep rotating this sponge so I don't get any hard edges from the edge of the sponge. And with putting it on with a sponge rather than, say, a knife, it's going to be more transparent because it's going on thin. Of course, you don't have to do this all with the same color. But I kind of like to do one color on one side and a different color on the other. You can also tape it rather than holding it with your hand. Some areas you can put it a little thicker, some a little thinner. I'm going to try and get a little thicker up here. And then up here I'm going to use a different color. The stencil is great because it's kind of built-in composition, so I'm just following the stencil for my paint colors. And this I'm putting on much thicker. Let me just get another color. See where it was really thin there. Oops, you don't want to do that. So perhaps what I'll do, I got it back. I'll show you how you can fix something like that too. All right, we'll go get that washed, but so I messed it up over here, but that's okay. Let me put this white behind here so you can see it. So you can see this pattern now. So I'm going to have to wait for this to dry. And then I can do a few different things. I can come in with a marker and mark around the back side or on the front side. I can come in with different colors. Let me just show you some things here. Like this, it's got many different things going on. So here's a stamp. This side, I've added some white and made it look more opaque when you look at it this way. This is what I'm talking about with the marker. or a fine line pen as well. So you can see it on this side. You can do a stamp back here, get paint thicker on this side. So let's just show you this one tool I have. Let's go on this side with it. And I'm going to just use my knife to get the paint on fairly thick here. And this is an interesting tool where you can actually remove it, get some lines going, and then even take it over here. Still a lot of paint on there. And then you flip it over and you see what it looks like. Again, let me get this white. I can't put it on there, but I can. See how you get that depth? By working from back to front, front to back. Now, let's say you get something. This has got a lot of paint on it. This was just one I was playing around, demonstrating how to remove the paint, let that dry, and then put another layer on. But let's say you want to remove some paint. Let's just put this over here. This is the really great trick. Now, this piece has been around for a long, long time. And as long as the paint is not mixed with gel, and I think this is, but I might still be able to get some off. I'm just going to spray alcohol, this is on here, and let's say you've put paint on an area and you want to remove some of it. This is a way you can do that, is with, yeah, some of it's coming off here, is with rubbing alcohol. Then that's going to open up this area. Do you see? Now I can see my glove behind there. You can get an interesting effect by doing this because you're never quite sure what you're going to get when you're like putting it on, taking it off. But it gives you a very layered kind of, I like that gritty, multiple layers of paint and papers, and I think that's why I like this technique so much. It gets a little sticky, so I have to kind of stop, but it's really, I'll put this paper here. You can really see the music coming through there. Now this is a pretty transparent paint. So working with transparency and opacity, those are going to give you different levels. When I say want to finish this, this might be a great way to finish this. It's just to glue some of these papers onto here. That's going to give it more opacity. Here's a different kind of paper I could use. You know, highly graphic paper. So these are all possibilities. I like working with this. It just takes a little time. If I come back here and wait for that to dry, add some more layers. Even if I wanted to block some areas out, I could just paint over it. It's so forgiving. It's just like working on a canvas, but you're getting the extra dimension. So go to your framer, go to the hardware store, and pick up a piece of plexiglass. It doesn't have to be Plexiglas is like the brand name. It's just cast acrylic. Whatever brand they have in the store is fine. And they usually have somebody to cut it there for you. Stamps are another great way to add another layer. Let's try this little stamp on the front here. So it's just more depth there, more depth than you would get if you were just doing this directly onto a canvas or paper. I always keep like one of these extra ones around, just what I call my experiment, or use up all my paints. And sometimes those are the ones that turn out the best. So I'm just going to keep throwing some of this on here. Now I got it over there, so let me just show you. So oops, I got an oops. So just a little alcohol, it's all gone. So don't be afraid of mistakes. Put some on, take some off, put some layers on, and I'll get one of these finished and show you what it looks like. And the two from the book, I'll post those as well. And just if you wanted to say finish this one, if you wanted to add it to a panel, obviously you can paint the back side of this panel as well. And then rather than gluing this, because I find that the glues don't really hold, they kind of, you see them. So if you're going to paint this completely white, and then you could probably try gluing it. But I also will drill some holes and just screw it in to the back panel. That's another option. So maybe I'll do that with this one and screw it into the panel and show you what that looks like. All right, we'll go have some fun. Like I said, this is my favorite thing to do because I keep going back and forth, and the possibilities are always changing. If you want to see what some of my pieces look like, under my website, they're called 3D paintings, and you can see I make a lot of sculptural pieces and long, narrow pieces using this technique. So thanks for joining me, and keep creating. And until next time, have fun, post your work, be creative every day. Thanks for joining me. Join the Creative Awakening community on Facebook, where you'll be able to post your art, connect with other creatives around the world, and ask questions. Use the hashtag MixedMediaSoulSparks when posting your work on social media. Thanks for joining me,